Well, thanks, Jim. This is really is an exciting time, I think, to look at what's going on in model railroading. And I have a great guest. You guys met him earlier, which is Henry Primas. And Henry, welcome to our clubs and divisions discussion. So tonight, what I'd like to do is really focus a little bit on, your role and your division, some of the things that you're doing beyond in addition to obviously the youth and model railroading. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your division, and kind of where you guys are at.
Okay. Um, I'm with the Piedmont division of the Southeast region of the NMRA. That encompasses the area of pretty much North Georgia.
Yep.
We do a lot of things. We do a lot of things because they're fun. We have a lot of fun and we try to bring in other people who will enjoy it. I am on the board for the division, and my responsibility is for the train show. Our train show is one of the two big major things that we put on every year. We have a lot of fun. The vendors enjoy it. We're not in the downtown Atlanta, but we're just out in the suburbs where we have a great place for it. And it's a lot of fun.
So is that kind of those are then your major events you do as a division?
Well, actually, the train show was one major event. We have another major event that's about to begin. It's called the Piedmont Division Pilgrimage. And that's where we open up houses. This year, actually coming back from COVID, we'll have 43 layouts that will be open between October 22nd and November, just before Thanksgiving. Saturday and Sunday, we open the houses. People come in. The public can see the layouts. They can even take a hand at some of them. We've been trying to run them. We get a lot of people. Last year, even coming off of COVID, we got 1,300 people to come in and try it. It's a great thing. Actually, if you want to see more about it, you could go to the Piedmont Division Pilgrimage, the website, and read all about that.
So you actually members open their home layouts for just the general public then as well.
That's true. In fact, this year we only have 43 layouts. Usually we have between 70 and 80 layouts, but COVID has made things different. So we're adapting and keeping it going. Even last year, we didn't open the houses. What we did, we filmed them and put them on the web.
Right.
So now we're back to the open houses where people can actually come in and see them and enjoy them.
So just a question out of that, because we've had this discussion about layouts being open. And one of the things that has come back from a lot of layout owners is that they're comfortable being open for NMRA members, but they're not really comfortable being open, for the general public. Do you find that to be an issue, or sounds like you've been doing this for a while and hasn't been a real issue?
Yeah, I mean, this is the 20th year that it's been done. We do not have an issue with the public coming in because what we're trying to do is encourage more people to come into the hobby. The way to encourage them, we bring them in, let them see what's going on. Now, many of the layouts that we'll be viewing are not completed. They can see that what goes into it. They can see what the stages are. And we have had no problems.
Interesting.
Or anything. It's very good. It's because you're walking right into the house, you come in, generally go to the basement, take a look at the layout, enjoy it, and keep on going.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do those kind of tours for members as part of member events, but that's the first time I've heard of doing a large volume layout tour for the public. I know, like we've done conventions and stuff, there's generally a bit of security around lay out locations and people's addresses and that, because people are concerned about having that publicly available. And so I was surprised by that.
Yeah, well, one of the things is we have volunteers. So we have security. If you have a layout, you'll get 3 or 4 volunteers that will help you with everything from putting the cookies out to, just walking around and answering questions that people have. Not only do they get to see, but they get to ask questions. And once you start to answer the questions and explain, it just works out well.
And so basically what that says is that some people's layouts are open some days and some other people's are open other days, I assume.
Well, actually, what you get is you get one day that your layout is open. You can choose to have it open all day, or you can be in
Okay.
the morning section or the evening afternoon session.
So here's actually, just for those on, this is a quick view of the
Oh,
upcoming
you
tour
got it.
dates. And so basically members then pick one day to be open, and that then is their day to be part of the group. So there's never more than about 3 or 4 open on any day.
Well, right now there are only 3 or 4 open because we don't have the level of participation post-COVID.
Signed up yet. Okay.
We're
Well,
working up to it. We're working
that's
up to it. Mine will be open probably next year because I'll have enough done that I can let people see it and not be embarrassed. And I also have to clean up the basement. But it'll be fun.
So what other kind of activities do you do more specifically for members?
Well, one of the big things that I enjoy is that we meet 11 months out of the year. In December, we have a Christmas party instead of a meeting, but we have very good clinics. Our meeting was yesterday. The clinic, which a video gave to us, was on adhesives. What glue to use where, why, and how.
Mm-hmm.
That was very informative. He kind of kept a lot of people spellbound, and it was just very, very informative. So it helps me look at some of the things, and I now know how to take care of some of the problems that I've had because of the presentation which one of our members did.
Interesting.
That's one of the big things. Also, our meetings are open to the public. So we have new people come in. We always welcome our visitors and try to show them that, well, this is what we do. This is a good place to be. And we do have quite a few members.
So do you find that people tend to join or not come back, or do you get people who continue to come that have not joined as members? And how do you kind of manage that?
Well, most of the time we will get people who will then join up.
Right.
If somebody keeps coming and doesn't join, we just talk with them.
Have a conversation.
You have a conversation. If you start talking about things, because if they don't join, maybe there's a reason. What are we doing wrong? What are we, what do we need to fix? Is it, things like that. So you have to get the information so you know what to take care of. So hopefully you keep getting members.
So are your clinics always in the same place, or they move around in the division, or how do you manage your monthly meeting?
No, our monthly meeting is at one set place. Our former operations vice president got us a great deal. So we're going to stay there until they put us out or they raise the price. But it's difficult. That's one of the things that the train show does, is produce income so that we can offset the price of the building where we hold our meetings.
Right.
Now we also have other things that go on for both members and for the public. We have an education program. The big one that most people have heard about is Model Railroading 101, which it's a class that just shows you and hands-on going through, making things, putting things together, and see if you want to do it. We've had some people that said, "Oh, I don't have room for it." Well, then you show them how to put together something that's either a small tabletop or something that slides under a bed. Uh, you know, we try to help them as much as possible to be able to enjoy it.
That sounds good. So talk about your events. You do clinics. Obviously, a clinic about adhesives is more of what I would think of as a presentation clinic.
Oh
Are
yeah.
you doing any more mentoring and hands-on activities in your clinics or in your meetings, or is it more generally presentations?
Well, during the meetings, many questions get answered of those who have gone before.
Hmm.
Uh, I know I can be a pest, and I chase the MMRs around so I can get questions answered, but it's not difficult. If you have a problem and you ask 2 or 3 people, you're going to find out the answer or who to go to for the answer.
So it's kind of
So,
more informal versus having like a specific kit or something you're building or something like that.
right, it's very informal. Um, Most of the clinics involve techniques rather than building one specific item.
Right.
Or we have had a clinic where we've had a major item that was built and somebody goes through the steps of what goes on, how you do all the different things, so that people can see how that comes together.
Cool.
Um,
Cool. So it sounds like you have a fairly good group of volunteers. How do you get volunteers engaged, and how do you find volunteers? And is there a process there that works?
yes, I beg a lot. For the train show, I will need between 50 and 70 volunteers for us to have a successful train show. The train show is in March 2023. At our meeting yesterday was the second month that I went out calling for volunteers. And I said, they're coming. Now in November, we're going to actually start signing people up.
Right.
I'll just say our division, a lot of people will volunteer. We do have volunteers. Sometimes we don't have as many as we'd like, but we got a great core of volunteers who, even though we're short, they make up for it.
Right.
So for our division, I'm going to say we got great volunteers. I am
So,
very, very lucky.
so where is the train show? Which city is the train show held in then?
Well, the train show is in a suburb of Atlanta called Cartersville. We found that moving it out of the city of Atlanta to Cartersville, our costs were a lot less. One
Right.
of the things that we had to worry about was when COVID hit, we got clobbered on a big place in downtown Atlanta. We're still trying to make up for that. But now we're in a smaller place where we have a smaller exposure, but we're able to make not as much money, but enough to keep us going. I mean,
So,
our whole mission is to make enough money to run the programs for the division.
so I guess one of the things that I know we've talked about, because we typically in our area typically it's been two, and occasionally there have been three of the what I'll call commercial train shows that come to the area. And I think that's caused us to not in this area think about having a train show run by the division or that.
Uh-huh.
Do you find yourself competing with commercial train shows like, the Great Train Show or the Great American Train Show, or do you find they're not really competitive?
Well, we have some commercial ones. We don't have the Great American Train Show. Um, we are very competitive to that. Our rates are good. And the thing that helps us a lot is our vendors make money. They're able to get in and out. And with our number of volunteers, they're not getting clobbered. Let me give you, for instance, a volunteer backs his van up. excuse me, a vendor backs his van up, our volunteers unload it and take it to the spot that they have in the
Okay.
convention hall. That keeps them from having to do it. That also lets us just check in, gives them all the paperwork they need and everything. So they like to come to our place. They like,
Very
in
cool.
fact, our last show, two of the larger vendors out there said, I've made more money at this show than I've had all year, which is a great thing that I want to hear.
Oh, no, absolutely. So, one of the things obviously that, we talk about, we do these little discussions is about recruiting. And it sounds like you're really using the combination of the train show and your open houses as kind of your primary recruiting vehicle, and then get people to come to meetings and then kind of slowly strong arm them into membership. So
That's
that
about
sounds
it.
like the recruiting path. Yeah, no. Well, I think it's important to understand, kind of how do you recruit people, how do you get people involved, et cetera. So that's very good.
Well, also, we have one person who is responsible for recruiting. He's our vice president of personnel.
Hmm.
And Gary, you out there? Gary Fish also tunes in quite often. Okay,
No.
I guess not. But Gary Fish is our vice president of personnel, we call it. He goes out when people tend to seem like falling off, when they don't pay their dues or something. They get an email from Gary, how you doing? No, as long as people get reminded, they tend to come back and they tend to stay.
So how many people do you get to your monthly meetings then?
Well, right now we're down. We're getting about 55, maybe 60 people.
And
Um,
how many members are there in the division?
we have 345, I believe, somewhere
Okay.
around that. Um, many of the people in our division are senior, and driving at night in Atlanta is not all that fun. So they tend not to come out to the thing. They'll come to the daytime items, but
Right.
maybe sometimes at night there won't be.
So your monthly meetings are evening meetings then,
Yes,
typically.
yes.
Okay.
We have our board meeting from 6 to 7, and from 7 till 9 we have our membership meeting.
And so it's typically what, a Friday night or a Saturday night or
No, we do it
weeknight,
on Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights. Okay.
Tuesday night. No, Friday night, Saturday night. It's hard to get spaces. Spaces cost more.
Yep.
Tuesday's been very good for us.
Good. Good. So I guess kind of to close up, if you were talking to other divisions, what would you tell them are kind of the unique learnings that the Piedmont division has had that you think other divisions should consider adopting?
Well, one of the first things I suggest is don't be afraid to try new things. One of the things is back with COVID, very quickly we went to meetings on the web, on Zoom. Okay, we were getting 40 people on Zoom. It did well. Well, now we are broadcasting our meetings on Zoom, as well as being right there for those who can't make it there.
Right.
Which is, and we're in a big division.
Right.
There's a lot of real estate between A and B.
Right.
So some people can make it, some people can't.
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of like questioning. So it sounds like the events are very much being in one location. You haven't tried to extend out across the division and get closer to people that are not close to Atlanta.
Well, actually, our division at one time took a survey, you could call, of where everybody lived who was a member, and
Right.
tried to find a central spot for that, for us to have our meetings. And that's where we are.
Okay.
So, there are a couple of things. Now, the clinics, when we have like Model Railroading 101, may be anywhere within our region. It's all around. The train show tends to stay where it is. Now, the pilgrimage is it's houses all over the place.
Right.
I mean, Mike, who put that together, tries to get places relatively close for one day. So you're not trying to drive all the way to the other side of the city.
Right.
And
Cool.
it works out well.
Well, very good. Well, I think it's exciting to hear. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of energy and things going on in the Piedmont division. I think this idea of having open houses over an extended period and making them available to the public is very interesting. It'd be kind of interesting to understand if anyone else has done that. I know we've kind of talked about it. We've had pushback from layout owners about how publicized their addresses are and those kind of things. So it's good to hear that that's actually worked out well. That'll be a good point to quote in future potentials of doing that. So
Yeah, I
very
like to
good.
say it's worked well for 20 years.
Yep. No, that's great. That's
And
great.
that's, you know, that's a good history for us.
Absolutely. Well, Henry, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today and some good insights and good inputs. And what's really interesting about this as we do more of these is you really find out how different divisions are doing things for their members. And it's great to just be able to all learn about some of those things you can try that are a little bit different. So
Well, I
we
think
will.
it's a great idea.
Super. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here. And Jim, we'll throw it back to you.